What's going on there, citizens of the Reject Nation? Happy Halloween to all of you. John, got any Halloween plans?
Maybe go walk around amongst the people trick-or-treating and just soak up the old-time vibe. What about you?
What I got from that is you're going to walk around a bunch of little kids.
That's right. That's me. I
A
love
grown
kids.
man
I love
walking
hanging
around
with kids.
children.
My best friends are children. Yep.
Well, document this as evidence. Guys, we got some news to talk about. If you can, please go ahead, treat us with that like button. So, first thing we got to talk about right here is Witcher Season 4 is going to suck, right? Am I right? Yeah, it's going to suck. But no, let's not talk about that. Anyway.
Poor Liam.
What we got to talk about is how producer Nate Moore of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what he was talking about recently with the channel called Phase Zero, he was asked about the Doctor Doom rumors of Doctor Doom appearing in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know some people, they might consider this a spoiler, the fact that we are here to say it's not really a spoiler, but I guess for
Spoiler
some...
for what isn't there.
Yeah, Doctor Doom, from the screening that we saw, he's not in the film. Nate Moore, what he decided to do was go ahead and explain why Doctor Doom wasn't featured in it. And what he said was, I get why. And he's such a great character, and the world of Latveria is so fantastic. But once we decided that Namor is the antagonist, that was always going to be the focus. He said that it's very emotional and that the weight of the movie is a bit different. We felt the ending of the film was so poetic to then go back and say, hey, there's a tag at the end of the credits, felt a little disingenuous tonally from what we were doing. I remember when this movie ended. Now, I know our review is not out there yet because embargo hasn't lifted for it, and I still got to edit. It's a long review. I got to cut it down. But I remember when the credits started rolling, and I was sitting next to our buddy Aaron, who you might have seen in those Spider-Man No Way Home trailer reactions with us, and I was sitting next to him, and I was just quiet for a few minutes. I wasn't like chit-chatting with anyone about the film right when it was done, and I remember just leaning forward and turning to him and going, it just feels like it'd be a little inappropriate if Doctor Doom showed up at the very end of this film.
Yeah.
This movie is so different. This movie, without going into anything specific whatsoever, while it's a massive film, it's a big movie, it feels very focused and personal in regards to what it's thematically touching on. That to then have a Doctor Doom post-credit scene just wouldn't vibe personally with me. Like, it was weird because prior to watching this movie, I had heard the rumors, like all of you, that Doctor Doom might be in this movie. He might be in the post-credit scene. He might explain some stuff, yada, yada, yada. And there's a couple of things that might be an Easter egg to Doctor Doom, nothing really overt. And I've heard the speculation that maybe it is still there, but they're just waiting for the actual release before they slap it on to the film. They didn't want it to come out for early screenings or whatever, which I respect if that's the case. But from where I stood, I was really happy there was not a post-credit scene for some other movie to come or something bigger down the road, because that's a big part of what made the mid-credit scene just hit home so much harder. What left me with such an emotional impact after the film was done, that it was just all about the movie and not anything to do with what the future is. And I think having a Doctor Doom thing would have actually undercut the experience, weirdly enough. I don't know. I might change my tune if it happens to come out and it happens to work and it happens to be great, maybe. But I don't see a scenario where it honestly does. Even though I expect Doctor Doom to come in the future of the MCU, I personally was really happy with the choice, and I completely agree with everything Nate Moore said as to why there wasn't a Doctor Doom featured here.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with either of you more. And I feel like this is pretty definitive given these quotes. You're like, yeah, they could still tack something on for the theatrical release, but I feel like this is a pretty solid statement of their intent. And being that this is the end of Phase 4, and being that this is such an important singular movie beyond the implications of just in-universe MCU, it does feel a bit, I guess disingenuous is a good word for it, to then, point your attention to something else. I wouldn't at all be surprised, though, if there are clues that they will then utilize later on. I feel like this movie will still exist within the continuum and the interconnectivity of the MCU, but that's not the point of why we're here. And yeah, Namor and everything with Talokan is in need of so much fleshing out and so much introduction and so much focus that I feel like it was wise of them. I mean, even if you didn't have all the circumstances with Chadwick Boseman, I feel like it would still overshadow most everything about the movie if you brought in Doctor Doom, confirmed that involvement, confirmed this connectivity to the upcoming Fantastic Four in a very explicit kind of way. Yeah, it just seems like for what this movie needs to achieve and for the emotionality of it, for the real lived experience that is being brought into this picture. Yeah, there's just nothing that Doctor Doom would compliment about that in any kind of emotional or contextual way other than giving you like a nerd rush. And I feel like of all the MCU movies, this is not the one where you need a big sort of like geek out nerd rush thing to point to, because this is also one of their better movies in general, and I feel like they're confident enough to let it stand on those legs as well. And so yeah, I don't think, not that Doctor Doom is a bell and a whistle, but at the same time I feel like in this experience it would feel that way if they were to then kind of at random at the end without any prompting go, he's down there though. He's pulling the strings. And I think given what a lot of the speculation has been, not that they couldn't come in with some kind of separate motive or separate means of incorporating him, but I feel like to really give the conflict that this movie is trying to deal with its credence, I think it's appropriate to, save Doctor Doom because we all know he's coming.
And what I would also add to it is, as much as I'm going to be a massive hypocrite right now, is if we had not seen an early screening of it, we'd be covering all the clips and trailers. We'd be doing all that. Like, I know for sure we'd be doing all that. Hey, buddy.
No, right? You want Doctor Doom.
After seeing the movie, I'm glad that there's so much we did not cover, and now they're releasing all these clips and such. And I know it probably wouldn't make much of a difference me saying this, but I would avoid all that, honestly. Like, there was so much I did not know was in this film, and I think it makes for just a much better and more rewarding experience all around. With regards to Doctor Doom, not having a post-credit scene for that, to me, it's kind of akin to, in a way, Avengers Endgame, how there wasn't a post-credit scene for that. Think about it like this. That was a fictional character, Iron Man's death, and honoring him. It's like, let's just focus on the grief of Iron Man here, have the clanging sound going on. Like, let's just keep it simple like that. No post-credit scene. And now you have a fictional character, T'Challa is dead, but then the real life actor, Chadwick Boseman, is dead. So you're dealing with a lot of things thematically that are very heavy. And I think it is perfect to not have that post-credit scene, but the mid-credit scene is wonderful. If it hasn't been ruined for you, thank God, because it is a wonderful mid-credit scene. All right, guys. Well, what do you think? Are you still pissed that Dr. Doom is in here? Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe, click that notification bell, and hey, go ahead and we'll have a happy Halloween. All right, so just got out of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We're about to shoot our just watched discussion. And that all I'll say is that was so powerful. And we got a lot to talk about, but yeah, I thought it was so beautiful. It was freaking powerful.